Hey there, I'm Christy Wilhelmi from Gardenerd. Today is all about dragon fruit. I've been on a 3-year journey from starting cuttings to harvest, and I'm doing harvesting today, and I wanted to bring you along with me. But first, let's go back to the beginning. 3 years ago, I took cuttings of a dragon fruit cactus from my community garden. Someone offered me up some cuttings, and I brought them home and I prepared them for planting. And what that looks like is you cut about 1 inch to 2 inches off the bottom of each cutting. You let it cure for about 3 days so that it dries out, and then you plop it in some soil. And dragon fruit actually wants something a little richer than a cactus mix. Just a regular potting soil will do well, and you do have to feed it. So that's something I kind of neglected in the first year or so of growing this. Now, there are professional dragon fruit growers out there who can coax a cutting into a flowering plant in under a year. That was not my story, and I just want to share that with you first so that you understand that it can take up to 4 years to get a fruit. But if you're really good at what you do, you probably can get something going in a year. For me, it took 3 years. Here's why. First off, I started my cuttings in pots, and when I put them in pots, I set them in the shade and I watered them probably once a week, and I didn't feed them at all. I wanted to wait and see how long it would take for them to anchor and start growing roots on their own. And for me, that took 4 months. Once I started seeing new growth on those cuttings, I transplanted them into a bigger pot altogether and put a trellis behind them so that they would have something to grow up. Dragon fruit wants a sunny location, but not super sunny, because sometimes if it gets too much sun, it'll turn yellow. So it's a good idea maybe to give it some morning shade or afternoon shade, one or the other. Either way, it's going to grow. Give it support. Now, you may have seen that dragon fruit is often planted up against a 4x4 T-post where it comes up and then there's either a cross beam across the top or a box frame that's been built on top of it, because the dragon fruit likes to grow up and then hang over the top. I just put in a straight up trellis and it seems to be doing okay with that too. From there, the cuttings really took root and started sending out new babies and started climbing my trellis, but still no fruit. Now, remember what I said about dragon fruit needing to be fed. I might not have done that because I was, during lockdown, writing 2 books at the same time, and so things got a little neglected. But if I remembered, I would throw a bit of organic fruit tree fertilizer in there, because it's fruit-bearing perennial, and see what would happen. It was getting water once a week. One day I walked out and there was my dragon fruit in flower. So exciting. Quick interjection. Dragon fruit is a night blooming cactus, and so typically you'll see videos of people coming out at night with a headlamp on to hand pollinate their dragon fruit, because bats are usually the pollinator for dragon fruit. But where I live, we don't have bats, and a lot of places don't. But I want to tell you, at my community garden, our garden is closed at night, and so no one is going out there to hand pollinate their dragon fruits at night, and everyone's cactus is fruiting. So this video shows you that you can actually pollinate it in the morning while the flower is still open. Check it out. The dragon fruit flower has both female and male parts in the same flower. You can see these anthers are the male parts right there, and this is the female part. And if you take the pollen off of the male parts and paint it onto the female parts, voila, plant sex. I was honestly a little bit worried that maybe my hand pollination wasn't good enough or didn't do the job, so I was really hanging on, just waiting to see what would happen, and it worked. It set fruit, and it grew, and it got fat, and it started to change color. I took a lot of pictures every day just to see how far it was coming along. And now it's time to harvest. But first, I want to share with you some of the tips that I learned for how to know when to harvest. First is color. Obviously, you want the dragon fruit to be evenly colored in dark red, or, pinkish red or yellow if you have that variety. Not a lot of green left on it. You're going to see the scales or the little wings on the dragon fruit will start to wither. That's point number 2. So you can start looking to harvest it right around then. The third thing to look for, and this is something I learned from a professional, is that when you wiggle the dragon fruit, it should be loose on the attachment point. If the whole cactus moves along with it, it's not ready. Wait a couple more days. Another thing to look for is the blossom end. It should start cracking when it's getting ready to be harvested. I waited a little too long and I can actually see the fruit inside. And but hey, better late than never. And the last thing to look for is the feel. When you give it a squeeze, it should give a little under a squeeze. It shouldn't be rock hard, but it's a good idea to just not squeeze too hard so you don't bruise it. All right, let's go harvest. I'm so excited. I've been waiting 3 years for this moment. I'm glad to have you along with me. Start with a good pair of pruning shears, and there are several different schools of thought around this. Some people say you can twist off the fruit. If it comes off easily, it's ready. Others say you need to cut it off and use kind of a V cut so that the cactus will heal well. So I'm going to do kind of a combination of this. Basically, you're going to grab onto the fruit and cut up, and then from the other side, which I can't get to, there. There we go. This dragon fruit is beautiful. And now the moment of truth. You can see that this has started cracking here and here. That means I waited a little too long because you can see the fruit inside, but it's definitely pink, and I'm really excited about this. So I'm just gonna cut it down the middle. Oh my God, look how gorgeous this is. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Can't wait to eat it. So there you have it, dragon fruit from A to Z, from start to finish. You can do it if you live in a warm winter climate or you have a protected environment like a greenhouse where you want to grow dragon fruit. See how it goes. If you like this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to find out when our next video comes online. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber to support all the free stuff that we do here at Gardenerd. And of course, check out my gardening books. You'll find more on growing dragon fruit in Grow Your Own Mini Fruit Garden, and a bunch of stuff on growing vegetables in Gardening for Geeks. Check out my novel, Garden Variety, which also came out at the beginning of 2022. Happy gardening.